Okay, greetings everyone. This is First Centaurian 753 with a new game for the channel. This is the game of Suzerain. Suzerain is a um, fictional country placed in the context of the mid 20th century. And in this game, you play a politician who rises up through the ranks. And there's a little prologue here, which I kind of skipped through real quickly. Quote here: "You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like a raw summer night. You are my country." I don't know who that person is. But, anyways, there's a little prologue here, which I did play through, and I kind of skipped through a little bit, but I think I have an idea of. It kind of helps. It seems like it kind of helps drive your character. This is a story-driven game, but it's a story-driven strategy game, geopolitical strategy game. So it's basically like a choose-your-own-adventure type game. So I don't know how popular this will be on my channel. It is geopolitical, which is really the theme of the channel, and it's historical in nature. So I think it sounds interesting. Historical Gamer did also do one like this, and I'll give some shout out to him because I do watch his channel a lot. He played the narrative as a middle class income family. I'm going to go with the wealthy, and let's see if I can raise myself up to be an elite leader in the world. And I'm going to try to go for like an economic route, I think. Just favoring economic. There's different, like, it's almost like different routes. Like you can go poor and maybe go like a socialist type route. There seems to be like a fascist type route as well, and maybe a more democratic route, and maybe even just a more like, I don't know, technocrat type route, which I'm probably more going to lean towards that, but I'm going to promote democracy. We'll see what happens. It's very in-depth, and it's very interesting, and I think some people on this channel might like it, but make sure you leave a like and let me know, and leave some comments, so, because this is very involved. So let's start with the prologue here. You open your eyes to this world. You came from a wealthy family in the city of Lockhaven. These are the other options. I'm going to go wealthy. Kingdom of Swordland, which, Lockhaven, this almost sounds like Scottish, but looking at the map, I thought it was like Caspian Sea, but well, we'll see. You guys tell me what kind of location you think this is. Alright, your parents are named you Anton. As the only child of a successful businessman, you had the chance to grow up in a wealthy family. Life was easy at first, and you had the best education money could afford. However, things inside the Rand family changed due to the absence of your father. This affected your mother and you negatively. The years passed, and it's a new beginning in 1908. So I'm going to be reading through a bunch here. It's September 9th, 1923. During history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. Everyone tried to figure out what was going on. The principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Swordland was born. Now, what do I not fully understand? I think I do. I mean, I kind of understood politics a little early in life, so I would not go with that. Happy to have the day off. That's probably my response. I guess I'll try to intertwine my personality into this wealthy family as well, just to play it out that way. Somewhat worried. I'm happy I have the day off. That's what I would be saying. After graduating in 1926 now, after graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You choose law at Holsworth State University, economics at Lockhaven Business, or history. I like history, and I did go with history, but I always liked economics too. Actually, I originally went for accounting. And most people don't know that, but, I'm a history teacher now, but I originally went for accounting, and I changed. That's a whole nother story about what the day I decided to change, which was actually September 11th, 2001. But I'm going to go with the economics at Lockhaven Business School. Let's drop that sucker. We're going to try to go big economics in this. I think that's our big move. During the first year, you attended a lecture with David Whisky. Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce all these names, just they're all made up anyways. He was a well-known diplomat from the foreign minister and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why a market economy is a better option for Swordlands. I like this market economy thing. I don't know if this is the same for every route. I don't remember if there was a different lecture or something if you were a history teacher or a law teacher. He argued for a system where prices for goods and services are determined by an open market. I agree with the principle. I'm only concerned about passing exams. A question. I would agree in principle. It's going to lay my foundation as a capitalist technocrat. Soldiers enter. May 22nd, 1927. Soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering in protest, along with your best friend, Petar Vectern. He's in everything, actually. He's your best friend regardless. Alright, so what are you going to do? Protest with students or avoid confrontation? I probably would avoid confrontations. I'm not a big protester. Lay low, I'd say. You heard loud announcement that echoed through campus. General Suzerain declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You quickly made your way towards the dormitory, avoiding the scene. You did exactly as they said. Yes, I did. I will agree with that. As you entered the room, you heard screams coming from outside. Bury yourself underneath the sheets or try to go out and see. I did click this on the initial playthrough, so I kind of feel like I would want to take a look, but I know what happens anyway, so it's not really worried about that. It was a gloomy year because the soldiers locked us in. October 10th, 1927, the majority of students and teachers displayed their opposition. Thus, Lockhaven became a target for the military regime. Does this happen anyway? You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join a human rights group, student council, or political debate group. I actually did join student council in college, but today I am a debate coach. I was a student council advisor. I'm going to go with this one, actually. I prefer that. I should have tried the other one. I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I should test these out. Dozens of debates helped you hone your oratory skills. That's why I like that one. While also helped you to grow your networks. I wonder if that's the same with, I don't know. Leave comments if anyone's ever played and you know any difference. Please feel free to leave the comments below. Even though the debates were pretty heated between different groups, you all grew from sharing ideas. In one of the meetings, Petar, is it Petar or Peter? I'll have to look that one up. Introduced you to one of his friends, Monica, who was a volunteer for the Swordfish League of Women. You were immediately attracted to her. I'm attracted to intelligence. I'm going with that one. Sapiosexual here. Alright, the political charged environment led you to join the Red Youth. That's probably not me. Join the Young Swords Nationalists. Two extremists, and I don't like extremists, and that's not really my policy that I'm... there's a dishwasher going off in the background there. That's not really a policy I'm creating for these characters, so I'm going to stay out of the political organization here. The radio relay, the communist general Reichard surrounded Suzerain and his troops demanding their surrender. They refused, and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. Swordland plunges into chaos. The clashes, this is 1928, the clashes escalated into full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope, and love grew between the two of you. However, it was difficult time for love. The chaos must end. Sort of civil war. 1929, Republic of Swordland. The charismatic Colonel Torkin Sol orchestrated a sudden coup and brought an end to the chaos. He wrote a new constitution and restored stability. The people saw him as a savior. He formed the United Swordland Party and ran as presidential candidate. In the first ever elections, you voted for Swordland, or you didn't vote. I'm going to vote for Swordland. United Swordland. I kind of like this guy. UPS, United Swordland Party, won the election by a large majority. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. Damn it, compulsory. Time to serve national duty. No time for love, Dr. Jones. Alright, in February 1930, Bergina region, devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring country, Wayland. A distinguished Major, Joseph Lesia, ordered you to lead a squad on your border patrol mission. It was a very cold winter night when you began to march out of Gumrin outpost. You could see your breath. Very cold. Like now, in February. I hate February. That's another topic. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source, the squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees made it beyond the border fence. You escorted them back. Let them slip through. I don't know. That's what I did in the other prologue, so I'm just going to keep trying to match it. The refugees were in despair when they realized that you were taking them back to their border. Screams and protests ensued. As they were restrained, you delivered them to the border guards. After several months of military service, your duties ended, and you went back to civilian life. I think that's an interesting little anecdotal story, and I want to talk about that later when I get into immigration policy. You and Monica decide to, 1931, you and Monica decide to share your lives together after receiving the blessing. How old are we? We are 28? Okay. 29? Yeah. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holsword. During the same year, you were offered a high-paying job at the governing United Swordsman Party. It was important to start your career on a good foot, so you accepted. Now we have a decision to make. Financial compensation was too great to pass up. Working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. It was the best opportunity to change the country for the better. I mean, I'm going financial route. Let's just stick with that. Going to be economically minded. That's my goal here. If this matters at all. You became the economics assistant to one of the more experienced members of the assembly. I wonder if that would have gone differently. You worked long and hard, staying late at work, investigating hundreds of pages of economic reports. Climbed the ladder. September 1933, Seoul strengthened the republic by removing the institutions and symbols of the former kingdom from society. Eek, sounds like French Revolution stuff to me. Things were also looking up for the country as massive economic boom continued. That's good. The people were the happiest they had been in a decade. Election time came, and it was decided President Torkin Sol was elected once more. 1933, second election win for Seoul. April 2nd, 1934, a new 5-year plan, sounds communist, and subsequent work regarding finances put you under a lot of pressure. But your significant contribution to the economic strategy triggered an invitation to meet President Torkin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of the party. Accept right away, accept with doubts. I like to move up in the world. I'll take the opportunity. Jump on the opportunity. I'm an opportunist. June 1938, as the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle. You needed allies, so you brought Petar as your right-hand man. The birth of your son Frank provided a brief moment of joy and relief. You sacrificed work to spend time with your family, sacrificed family to improve your position in the party. You know, your kid's born. I don't know. I'm going to do that. See if I can sneak my way. I don't know if that matters at all. Maybe it's going to affect the family. I don't know. Just like your father once did to you, you prioritized work over your family. This definitely was a change. Petar, you accomplished great things in the party. At home, Monica and Frank felt your absence. Meanwhile, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the party. The cracks began to show. October 1945, President Sol barely secured a majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls for the United Swordsman Party Congress became louder as a leadership struggle started to brew. You watched from the sidelines, supported the president, joined the internal opposition. I'm going to stay on the sidelines. Very sneaky, sly person here. Just going to wait for the right opportunity. July 1946, the contender for the party leadership was Alfonso Ewald. That's one I don't know. The reformist and talented business magnate with a growing popularity within the party. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one. He approached you too. The president offered you a position of Minister of Economics, Commerce, and Energy in the next government if you back the upcoming vote. I like it. I'm going to back it. Even though he's losing. Oh no, they did the wrong thing. The party Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of United Swordland were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for party leadership began. Vote for Torkin. He gave you the job. Okay, September 1st, 1946. Unfortunately, Seoul lost the leadership and vote to Alfonso with a small margin. During the Congress, Seoul announced his retirement from politics. The systems he had established were to stay much longer. His achievements won't be forgotten. You were happy Seoul was finally leaving. Troubled by the departure. Didn't care about who was in charge. That's my vote. I don't care. That's my position. A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Diana. She motivated you during a tumultuous period in the party. General elections were approaching. United Swordland Party was under new leadership of Alfonso. Did your best not to help them. Join the party effort and campaign for him. Eek. Man, I am a brown noser at best. And we are going with the front runner there. 1949. In general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary, diminishing their chances. The extensive privatization program proposed by Alfonso secured an election victory for the Swordland Party. I like that. Over the next years, you did your best in order to make Swordland a better place. Tried all that was necessary to climb up the ladder. Dedicated yourself to the party and its successes. I'm going to just climb the ladder here. Okay, President Alfonso saw 1951. President Alfonso saw many bold reforms, but was followed by a serious economic recession. Other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair system hampered all opposition to win. You thought that your party could survive another crisis. Were worried about the economic recession. That sounds like me. Worried about your reputation would be tarnished alongside with Alfonso. I'm worried about the recession. Probably should be worried about my reputation. Back the wrong horse again. Together with Petar, your presence in the USP grew, and you became the new face, the face of a new wing in the party. You effectively took leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make your move had come. You blamed Alfonso for the crisis on television, bribed and extorted Alfonso's inner circle, advised Alfonso to step down. How do I deal with this guy? Bribe and extort. I'm going to advise him to step down. See if I just do it like that. Alright. January 1953, he didn't take your advice seriously and started to reshuffle the cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. Diplomatic attitude made the party vote you in as leader. Following this, you announced that you would be running as president in the general election with Petar as your running mate. I think that's what Historical Gamer did the same thing. I think I just copied him. I don't know. I think he did democratic reforms, but I'm going to want to do democratic reforms too. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms. I'm going free market. I'm going to go with like the neoliberal approach here, with some regulations to maintain income equality. I don't know if that makes any sense. Most people are tired of empty promises. We need fundamental change in our institutions and government, and a solid, transparent democracy awaits us. Brothers and sisters, a new constitution and a new age is upon us. This is what I'm saying. The broadcast ended. Yeah, I don't want to go national values. I don't want to be fascist. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes. Maybe I should play a fascist round. Time to face the truth. I wonder what it would be like if it's different from this route. That's the end of the prologue. Chapter 1, President Reign. And there's about 20 minutes right there. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what things look like here, which it looks really in-depth, this game. I am interested. But I want to know if you guys are interested too. Because I feel like I want to commit a lot of time to this. And read up on all the backstory and develop some elaborate strategies, if I can. I don't know. It's almost like you are in meetings, like the prologue, basically, and you have, like, you know, you have a choose your own adventure type decision making process. I don't know. Accessories? What are the accessories? Nerd. There we go. Talking cigar. Oh, pipe. That looks distinguished. I'll go with that. Attire. Oh, that looks communist. Maroon suit. Swordland first. That's fascist. The brown suit. Tuxedo. Grand. White suit. Default. I wonder if this matters. I'm gonna go. Don't go tuxedo. Go grand. Facial hair. I do have a beard. Mustache. Monarchist. Chief strategist. That's me. Oh no. Keep the hair. Okay, that's freaking me out. Background. Gold. Green. Maroon. I like the curtain. The office. Done. Okay, you will not be able to change how the President Reign looks at this point forward. Let's do that. We'll stick with that. Alright, so I have to decide on election promises. As Anton Rain, you have made many promises to the people of Swordland in order to gain their votes. They must be considered very carefully. I'm going to promote free market, I think. Swordland's economy has been based on planned doctrine since its formation until President Alfonso enacted free markets reforms. Now the country finds itself in between two different economic systems. Let's promote the free market. Diplomacy. Intensifying global rivalry between capitalist Arcasia in the west and communist United Contana in the east is opening up new diplomatic opportunities. Swordland could take steps to align further. So, I mean, we're going free market. I'm assuming we go with the west. We could try to do non-align and sort of play off the two. I'm going to go west. And in recent years, the Blutish, Wesek, Angolan immigrants flocked into Swordland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by Alfonso. As a result, tensions between swords and immigrants have been increasing. I'm going to go like neoliberal, open border, I think. I don't know if neoliberals are open border. I forget. I thought they were. I'm going to go very open. Open, open, open. People might not like me for this. That could cause problems. I can see that causing problems. Term focus. We have also promised to focus on certain extensive. So, that's what I wanted to talk about with the immigration policy. I thought the good backstory, like, so, Historical Gamer watching him, he went with tightening immigration because that's what his character did in that war. But I thought a good twist would be, as your character, you saw all that pain and suffering, so that gave you sympathy to immigrants. So that's why I'm going with the immigration route, because my character, what happened to him in the war and how he saw the impact of his decision to send those refugees back leads him to have immigration sympathy. That's my approach. That's my backstory, at least. I'm sticking with it. We've also promised to focus on certain extensive subject within our first term. People expect us to solve negative situation within the country within this topic while providing overall improvement to related politics. Health, let's see, since 1940, difference between service quality between the urban and rural hospitals has been getting increasingly worse. Average life expectancy has dropped. Education, lack of schools, teachers, and even classroom equipment in certain areas has causes massive gaps in previously robust education system. Law enforcement, increased crime is pushing law enforcement to their limits, while judges at courts deal with a huge and expanding backlog of legal cases. The military protects the country from hostile threats, while some see it as a massive financial burden. Others argue it's critical deterrent. I am a teacher, and I'm an educator. I think my character would have been affected by what happened to him when he was in college. And the arresting of all the teachers, I felt it there. I felt it as I was reading it. We're going to go with education. We're going to try to boost the education system. All right, your promises will be remembered, and they will have consequences. So you're going to have a consequence in health, law enforcement, and military, probably. Because we're going to have to make sure we back any education reform, too. All right, sure about the decisions? Yes. 2 weeks have passed since you won the election. And now I was about to be sworn as fourth president of Swordland. Thousands were watching the inauguration ceremony, cheering my name, and Suzerain. The die was cast, and there my story began. In the distance, the Maroon Palace stood on top of the famous Hill of Pride. That sounds fascist. I have no way of knowing what future awaits me there. Look at my family. My son, my daughter, Frank, Diana were next to Monica, my wife. Her eyes were glimmering with pride. Then I turned to key people that made it all possible. Of course, each individual promised an important position in my cabinet. Was promised an important position. As I gotta take notes on this stuff. That's the other thing. There's like a note-taking thing you should do, and I feel like I do need to take notes. Orso Hawker. My thoughts slowly fade away. The reality of the situation dawned on me. Orthos Hawker, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was waiting for me. Oh, he's just swearing me in, that's right. Time for the oath has come. I'm ready. It has indeed. It sounds more like authoritarian. Let's start. That's me. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. Do I have to do this? I will respectfully execute the office of the President of Swordland, and to the best of my ability preserve and protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Swordland. You may now deliver your inauguration speech. Thank you. Dear citizens of Swordland, my brothers and sisters, my fellow swords. So does this matter? I would not say brothers and sisters. Or my fellow swords. I would say dear citizens. I feel like I'm lacking leadership. Or charisma. The crowd looked very eager to listen to me. The idea of unity, the current situation, dire, change and hope. I like unity, but I am promoting immigration. Do I want that? I should have a strategy for this, but I don't. I like unity. For many generations, this country and its long history has kept us tied to the idea of unity. Our people's right for a free and prosperous life. If we stand together, we prevail. The issue that plagues us, our capabilities. I say, if we stand together, we fail. I'm going Lincoln-esque here. House divided, cannot stand. In the past, there have been times of survival, times of conflict, economic hardship too. But whenever we stood together, we prevailed. I promise you we will stop the recession and eliminate poverty. The future awaits us. Time to turn our faces to the West. Oof. First, rewrite the Constitution. I'm going to focus on economics. It's time for a united, powerful Swordland once again. Change now, not in the next decade or years, today. Our capacity as a nation has never been greater. Let's do that one. Make Swordland great again. Hundreds of thousands cheered and were shouting my name in unison. I felt the responsibility and the power and the burden all at the same time. Raise a fist, wave, enjoy the... That's Nixon. I'm not doing the wave. Enjoy the moment. Or raise a fist. I'm going to raise a fist. Which triggered huge applause. Took a long look at the people of Swordland and burned the moment into memory. One of the presidential guards came by to notify me it was time to leave. I made my way to the leading car in the motorcade. Presidential state car was jet black Cadilla with flags of Swordland above the front headlights. Next to it was a man holding the door, Sergey Walkner. Hello, Mr. President. Still under the effect of my speech I made, hearing my new title made me smile. If you allow me to introduce myself, I am Sergey, your new driver. Nice to meet you, Sergey. Eddie, Sergey. It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you, Sergey. It's an honor. Respectfully bowed his head before opening the car door, gestured inside. I entered the car. we will be heading towards the palace. Motorcade began to move. On the way, Sergei proceeded to explain the duties as a driver. As minutes passed by, I found myself lost in thoughts again, barely paying attention to what he was saying. He suddenly made a gesture towards the now closer palace. Isn't it a beauty, the Maroon Palace? He was right. Sunlight glinted off the palace's many maroon column domes. It was so bright that I had to look away. Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duties of the nation. It's in good hands now. So do I. Sergei, it's the beating heart of the nation after all. We all owe great debt to the man who led the country from here. It's just a building. I'm not going to say that. It's in good hands now. I feel like that's overly confident. I don't want to support the past. I don't know if that's the right one. Well said, Mr. President. The car drove past the majestic gates and continued uphill to the entrance and stopped in front of the doors. Sergei got out of the car, opened the door for me. Have a great day, Mr. President. A Morgna was West Corps, whatever that means. He referred to the famous Swedish phrase, okay, from times of revolution, a Morgna West Corps, Vectern sis da, morning will come, victory is close. I like that one. Made my way up the stairs, through the extravagant quarters of the palace. Marble and engraved wooden furnishes decorated the interior. This palace is very opulent. My footsteps echoed in the colossal hallways. The guards bowed their heads in respect as I opened the massive doors to my new office. And that is your introduction. And that took half an hour. So, this is the country of Swordland. You have your different regions. Lockhaven, that's where I went to school. Grew up. Holsor, that's where I worked, I guess. That's the capital. Lorraine. Some of these are like Lord of the Rings names. What is that? Vlagstad. Congratulations from the Chancellor. Hegel. Okay. Oh, this is a different country. Democratic Republic of Vlagsland. So, alright, I am not going to go through everything right now, but I just want to give you guys a quick overview. Obviously, there's a lot going on this map. Country overview. This game is very in-depth. They have all these different active policies, and I think I'm probably going to take another episode to go over this stuff. There's law, and then there's current situations, and so there's the Alfonso economics, Alfonsonomics, military situation, welfare situation, order, diplomacy. This is all stuff that I'm going to have to go in and look at myself just to get a good idea of what's going on, and then I can give you guys an overview, I think. Here's a cabinet, different factions, legislative branch with the parties and the leadership and the opposition, the judiciary, and the Supreme Court. That's all the political overview. We can take notes, which I'm going to have to. Lots of notes need to be taken. But then if you go over here into the Codex, there is so much more in detail. You have all this information about the cabinet. There's your best friend, Petar. You've got your family, what's going on with them. There's different party leaders. There's the assembly, a bunch of significant legislatures, Supreme Court justices, foreign leaders, state figures, I don't know who they are, business leaders, ex-presidents. You can talk to them, maybe get some advice, maybe, or get them to support you. And then other random people. There's a general, a couple generals. So there are a lot of characters here. There is a whole history, a big timeline, important events, ideology. Some of this we already know from our prologue, I would assume. And locations, countries, those are different countries. Cities, lots of cities. Regions, Landmarks. Interesting. And then different organizations, political parties, government organizations, corporations, political organizations, Red Youth, Young Swords, oh, they sound extremists. International organizations, Alliance of Nations, then factions, and all of these have like a big background. So I'm not going to go over all that in the video, but if you guys like the way this looks, please leave a like. I'm going to get at least 10 likes for me to get into this because it's very involved, and I'm going to start doing research and seeing what I can come up with. I think it might not be a weekly video, it might be every 2 weeks, at least till maybe the springtime, things sort of free up for me. I don't know when I'll be releasing this, actually. So, you also have news. There's newspapers, 6 unread newspapers that I gotta read. And then there's some events down here. And so, I'm gonna end it now. Save and exit to main menu. But again, yeah, let me know if you like it. Leave a comment, leave a like. And this might be a new game for this channel. I think it could be entertaining for some of us. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.